For the culinary competition, the first thing you'll be doing is your knife cuts. So you'll get something similar to this. Basically, you'll have 2 carrots, an onion, you'll have a celery and some shallots. The shallots are going to be for the entree, the celery is going to be for the rice, the onion is for the rice. We have 1 carrot for the entree, which you're going to cut oblique, and then this one here you're going to do a julienne cut that you can use for your salad. Okay, so you're going to have 30 minutes to do these cuts. So again, start on any one you want. You want to make sure you peel your carrots. Okay, and then you'll be placing them in another container. So the first cut we are going to go over is the oblique. Now the oblique is going to be for the entree. You probably want to use the larger carrot for the oblique, okay, if they are different in size. So again, you're just going to do one for the oblique. The whole idea of the oblique is to get the carrot roughly about the same size. So as you can see, the carrot starts out small here and it gets larger. So the idea is to get your carrot, you're going to cut it, and again it's called also a roll cut. So you're going to cut it at an angle, then you're going to roll it, quarter turn. Again, okay, as it gets thicker, or as it gets larger, then you're going to lessen the angle. So you see here, all right? So we're trying to keep them about the same size. Now I don't want to cut it here, I'm going to cut it right around here, just like that. So we want to try to keep the same size on the oblique. So as it gets larger, and the judges are going to check for that, you're going to cut them and lessen the angle. As you can see, we're pretty much about the same size altogether. That's the whole idea. And again, as you see, I'm rolling it, and we are good. Okay, so we got our first one. You'll place them in a container or a little pie pan. Okay, the next one we will do is the julienne. Again, it says roughly 1 ounce, but again, if you want to more or less, so we're looking at about a 2-inch. And then the julienne is actually an 1/8 inch by 2 inches in length. So again, if you want to square it off, whatever will work. And then we are going to get those nice cuts. So again, by squaring it off, you're able to get a more accurate cut. So if you want to use the whole carrot, you may. And then as it starts to get a little movement, then just go ahead and go to the larger, flatter side. So we're looking julienne, 1/8 inch by 2 inches in length. Okay, again, you'll have 30 minutes to complete this. Okay, and so you got your small dice. And finally, we are going to be doing the shallots. So again, roughly about an 1/8 inch, or again minced, which basically means to not necessarily chop, but it's got to be a little more accurate. So again, we're just going to cut them into very small pieces. So roughly about an 1/8 inch. Nice and thin. If you come across something like that, go ahead and cut it off. And then we're going to get them mince here. And this mince is for the shallots, or the sauce for the chicken. Try to keep them as accurate as possible. Alright, you got your mince, and then finally we're going to do our
Alright,
so for the chopped parsley, again, that'll be one of your other cuts. It's just basically chopped. What you want to do is, again, you're going to pull off the leaves. One way to do it is just kind of run your knife across. Just like that. Avoiding any of the stems. This is more for garnish, not so much for flavor, for color. If you don't get all of them, that's fine. Alright, so you're going to kind of put it into a nice little tight little mass there, and then you're going to chop. Okay, so chopping, so it's nice and fine. This will be basically for your chicken. You can also put it in your rice if you want, but mainly your chicken for garnish and for color. So chop it up really fine. And then one thing you might want to do is get a towel, because it's going to be a little sticky, as you can see it kind of. So what I like to do is get a little towel, and again, this is optional, but I think if you do this, it kind of helps you in your points. Get a little towel and just kind of squeeze out any excess juice. Okay, as you can see, we're going to basically squeeze out any excess, and then it's going to make it much easier to sprinkle onto your garnish. Instead of clumping up, you'll have more of a easier, so it comes out a little bit more better flow. So once you're done, you're going to raise your hand. The judges will come over and they will check your cut. So again, you'll have a small diced onion, medium diced celery, julienne, carrot for your salad, shallots minced for your chicken, chopped parsley for your chicken, carrot for your chicken, and then of course the onion's going to be for your rice. Okay, the next thing you're going to prepare is your salad and vinaigrette. Okay. First thing you are going to do, we're going to go ahead and do our vinaigrette. You're going to have a variety of vinegars, lemon, you'll have some mustard, so a variety of ingredients to create your sauce or your vinaigrette. Okay, so you'll go ahead and do it in a small bowl, and we'll go ahead and give you the technique for that. Okay, so we're going to do our vinaigrette first. Again, roughly you're looking at 3-to-1 ratio, so any kind of acid, it's going to be 1 part and then 3 parts oil for the most part. Okay, then after that you can just kind of play around with it. An excellent binder to help you keep your vinaigrette suspended is going to be Dijon. You don't have to use it, so just a small amount. We'll throw in some garlic. Again, these are all optional. Little garlic. We're going to add some lemon. So again, roughly the general rule is 3-to-1. So if I use 1 tablespoon of lemon, I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of oil. So here I'm doing just a basic lemon vinaigrette. You'll have red wine vinegar, you'll have balsamic, you'll have apple cider, you also have lemons. We'll add a little salt and pepper mix. Then we are going to add your oil and then mix. And then so the whole idea is so that it keeps the oil and the liquid suspended. So in other words, we're looking to create an emulsion. And again, taste as you go. Again, we're roughly looking at 3 tablespoons. I put about a tablespoon of lemon. Again, if you wanted to add honey, you could add honey. And then we can stop. And then just make sure that we have a nice. And then we'll do some adjustments if necessary. And that is perfect. All right, also you'll have a variety of greens. So I'm going to use iceberg, I'm going to use romaine. You're going to clean it. So you want to get a little bowl, put a little bit of ice, a small amount of ice, enough so that the ice melts, okay? Then this way it's nice and chilled. You don't want to have to be fishing out ice cubes. Okay, so we're going to add a little water to this. You guys will have salad spinners as well, okay? So you have those available as well. All right, so we'll cut your lettuce. And again, you're only doing one salad. So again, making sure that your knife is sharp, not to bruise. I like to cut off the ends. And then also it's important to cut through the ribs. And then you're going to go ahead and cut up your romaine. Again, like I said, you'll have a variety of lettuces. So I'm going to actually add a little spinach to this as well. And then we'll go ahead and clean it up. Chilled. Your water's chilled, your ice is melted. Then you're going to get your salad spinner. Place it into the salad spinner. Discard any of the water on the bottom. As you can see, you'll have plenty of water. Give it maybe another spin. And there you go. At this point, you can start building your salad. So we'll go back into the bowl. The lettuce is nice and crisp. We have to add those carrots to it and then anything else that you want to add to it, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some feta, and again, we'll probably have feta cheese available. Small amount. Let's add some cucumber. Use half of this. Into your salad bowl. We've got some tomatoes. So again, I'm going to cut mine in half. Remember, you got 30 minutes to complete your salad. Also, once you are done with your knife cuts, let's say you finish 15 minutes, then you've got an extra 15 minutes to complete your salad. So the faster you finish, the more time you're going to buy, or you'll have, to do your entree. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we're going to mix this up. And again, all we need is one plate. We're going to add our vinaigrette, and again, see how it's still suspended. It hasn't broken. The oil hasn't separated from the liquid. Add this in, and again, the way I like to do it is around the edge. Lightly. Alright, so we got our salad. Here's our first one. Give it some height. Beautiful height. You could put some black olives in here as well. Red onion. Let me see if I have some. I'll add some for the top. Get those tomatoes looking out there. Alright, there's your salad. Okay. You'll have an area in which to take it to. It'll have your number on it. Place it there. The judges will taste it. All right, the next thing you're going to do is you can make your rice or you can do your chicken. I recommend you do your rice and then also blanch your veggies before you do your chicken. But if you want to do it that way, you can. The chicken should rest. So again, if you wanted to do your chicken, you may. But rice takes about 20 minutes. Chicken will probably take about maybe 15 minutes. So the whole idea of the pilaf method, rice pilaf, is to actually toast the rice. So we're going to go ahead and add some oil. And we're going to go ahead and add our rice. Again, you won't be able to use your recipes. So again, it's going to be a half a cup of rice to 1 cup of stock. Okay, so again, once you get that rice toasted, then you can add your celery and your onions. So we're just going to get this going. You'll have two options. You can either leave it on the stove and let it finish, or you can go into the oven. Okay, you'll have your oven right below you, 350 degrees. You'll put some foil or a lid on top. Let it go for 19 minutes once you get it. So I'm going to show you the steps here. So first step is actually just to go ahead and toast that rice, and then we can add our veggies, sweat them, then we can add our stock, and then we can do some final seasonings to it. Or as you can see, we're starting to get it toasted. It doesn't have to be, all of them have to be toasted, but a majority of it. You'll actually smell the rice toasting. Okay, at this point you could add chopped garlic if you want. But for the most part, you want to make sure you add your celery. And I'm going to go ahead and add the celery. Once I got a little toast from our cuts and our onion. If you need to add more oil, you may, which is what I'll do. And you'll start to see that rice is toasting now. As you can see, it's nice and golden brown. Get a little sweat out of the veggies. Again, if you wanted to add garlic, you may. Okay, then go ahead and add your stock. Remember, 2-to-1 ratio of rice to stock or liquid. Okay, the key here is to bring it up to a simmer. Once it comes up to a simmer, you can finish it off in your oven or on the stove top at very, very low. So we'll add a little salt pepper mix, and then You also might want to taste it before you actually put it into your oven. So again, we're looking for a simmer here. Quick taste. Perfect. One other thing that I like to add is a little nib of butter. Again, that is optional. Again, bring that up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, and again, it can't be at a boil or simmer too long because it starts to suck up, the rice starts to suck up the liquid. So it's very important, once you start seeing it simmer, go ahead and put it into the oven. See, as you can see, it's starting to now. At this point, I'm going to add that butter. Again, that is optional. Make sure you get that little simmer on there. I'm going to grab some foil. All right, we are good. So we'll go in for 20 minutes. Into the oven. Okay, so you will be cooking what we call a airline breast or supreme. So one thing your chickens may come looking like this. So the whole idea here is actually take off the skin. So we're going to go ahead and we'll cut around just like this. The bone should be exposed. Okay. And the reason why it's called an airline breast was they actually used to serve it first class on the airlines when you had your meal. It's also called a supreme or supreme. So again, and then you're going to want to cut off the end so that it looks like that. If you want to put foil around the bone, you may. Okay, so this is what it should look like. It's roughly about an 8-ounce breast. Right, as you see, I'm wearing the gloves. This is the crucial part. So again, come up with your own flavor profile. I've got a little salt, pepper, garlic mix. Season it. Okay, so you're going to want to get your pan at medium-high heat. All right, got it in a little saute pan or a little pan. Add your oil. Not too much here, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to create a fond, which is basically some flavor from the chicken. And let's make sure we got a nice even coat. Make sure it's hot enough. It's not quite hot. When you start to see a little evidence of a glaze, then you know you're right where you need to be, okay? So again, or a little bit of a smoke, okay? You want to be able to hear that sear. So you don't want to put it on, and if you don't hear anything, then you pretty much didn't get it hot enough. So again, you want to get it so that it starts to, again, I'm seeing a little smoke there. So I'm going to gently lay it in. Paprika works good for color. Again, watch it closely. And what we're going to literally do is we're going to actually, again, this is your option, but I'm going to go right into the oven with the pan. Okay, so you want a nice golden color without burning it. So as you can see here, we want to go a little longer. And then on the bottom here, it's catching some of the seasoning. That's where you're going to get your flavor. So add a little more oil if you need to. You don't want to put too much, but at the same time you want to make sure that you get that nice beautiful color. This is roughly going to take anywhere from probably 7 to 9 minutes in your oven. Internal cooking temperature at 165. Okay, you can cool it at 160, and that's what you're looking for, that color. Okay. At this point, you can pull it off and go right into your oven. All right, so we have here a little salted water that we'll go ahead and cook our oblique in. Again, we're looking roughly around 3 to 5 minutes. Get them soft, and then you'll be able to saute them and then add any butter or olive oil or anything else to them. Okay, so we got these. We'll go ahead and put your carrots into your ice water, let them sit. Reserve your water, you may need it again. Okay, so again, you just may need it, otherwise you're going to saute. Okay, so I just pulled the rice. Again, look at it, looks really nice. Fully cooked, ready to go. Keep it in a warm spot. Chicken is cooked. Okay, so now the next step, again, you want to keep this in a warm spot, and then we want to go ahead and begin to make our sauce. Okay, so we have a little bit of juice. We may capture a little more juice after this rests a little longer. So we're going to go ahead and hit this with the shallots. Okay, and then also we'll add it with some stock, and then we're going to do what we call our monte au beurre, which means we're going to melt it with chilled butter to create a sauce. So the technique here is not to have the butter break the sauce. So by putting it into the liquid, turn off your stove, and then slowly add your butter into it so that it forms a butter sauce. All right, and finally we're going to add our shallots. Again, not too high, you don't want to burn them. You may have to add some additional oil, but bring it up slowly. If you want to add garlic, you can add garlic. I'm not going to add any. And then just kind of get this going. So we'll have what we call our fond. So we're picking up some of that flavor from that chicken. Okay. And again, don't burn your shallots. Once you start to get that nice saute, add your stock. And you're talking about a half a cup. Okay, so we want to reduce this down a little bit. So again, reduce it by about 1/4 to 1/2. Okay, you should pick up a lot of flavor out of this now because of the fact that you had your chicken. Again, you picked up some of that salt and pepper when you seared it. So let it go roughly about 1 to 2 minutes, and then at this point we're going to go ahead and fold in our butter. Again, this is called monte au beurre, which means mounted with butter. And then you could do your seasoning adjustments. So we're looking roughly about a good tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of butter. All right, so now at this point I'm going to fold in the butter. It's reduced a little. We picked up some flavor. I'm turning off my stove. And again, you can do them in smaller pieces or larger. I'm going to do one at a time. And all you're doing is just take it off to the stove and let it create a sauce. Okay. So again, you don't want to burn that. You don't want that butter to melt to the point where it separates the milk solids from the oils. So again, let it melt. That residual heat will melt the butter. And we want to create that sauce. Okay, so we don't need, what we're looking for is we're not looking for any kind of separation. We want a sauce out of this. And we now have our sauce. And then now all we need to do now is saute our veggies. So we can start doing that now. So we'll set this aside, keep it warm. We're going to do our carrots, again, any way you want. I'm going to do a honey glazed carrot, so I will add some more butter to it. Oils start to move a little more freely, then you know that you're good. You don't necessarily have to sear these, okay? So again, all we're doing is just basically heating through, maybe getting a little caramelization on the outside. And I'm going to do the same technique, the Monte au beurre with the honey. You're also going to add some other things to it if you wanted to. Of course, we're going to add some salt and pepper. I could also add some cardamom. That gives it a little extra little flavor profile. All we're really doing, again, they're already cooked. We just want to heat them through. We're going to put them in ice water to stop that cooking process. All right, at this point now, we're pretty much heated through. We'll hit it with a little salt and pepper. We'll hit it with some honey. Not much. Same technique. Turn off the stove. Add your butter and let it just melt. Okay. So you have nice, good honey glazed carrots. You can actually add some of the parsley to it if you want. Remember, you'll have that parsley that you could use, of course, for your sauce. So again, we'll add the parsley. All right, for the plate up here, I've got the plate here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, we'll go ahead and add the chicken first. And again, you can do it any way you want. So I've got the chicken, and as you can see, I got more of that beautiful juice. So I'm going to use that and put that into my sauce. However you want to serve it, technically you'd want to cut it. And again, we'll cut that just like it is. And you see, a nice and moist. We'll place that on the plate. I'll show you the final plate presentation once we are done. Okay, so here's our chicken. Shingle it out. Okay, I'm going to put the sauce on last. Again, that is your option. I'm going to go with rice next. You can do a rice mold if you want, or you can just serve it up. I just like to actually just serve it up. So we'll go right here. Then we'll go ahead and add our veggies. We've got these honey glazed carrots. Add those on. And then finally, the sauce, which is right here. Again, we got this beautiful sauce. Now the key here is not to put the sauce on the skin, right? And again, you want to go ahead and, so you want to keep that skin nice and crisp. We've got those shallots, and again, just a light amount. And that should do it. Make sure you clean your edges on your plate. And there you go. This is our chicken for culinary competition.